everyone, and welcome to Minecraft! I'm in Minecraft because apparently that's one of the more popular games on YouTube. Right now we're on a creative world. I just figured I'd start off by testing to see how Minecraft would do on my channel by showing off some of my builds I have done, as you can see in the distance. Alright, here we are, and as you can see, I have quite a few builds. We're going to go through the builds in order of how I built them. Starting with this. This is supposed to be one of the starter homes I did. I might have overdone it in terms of detailing, but I'm going to hope that I actually didn't. But the idea is I was watching a Let's Play and I kept seeing the barrels and I kept thinking to myself, barrels look like they could make a really good base block for some house building. So I decided to take to it, and I think it turned out fairly nice. The roof is entirely made of cobblestone. I do use a lot of wooden logs in order to build a bunch of supports and stuff like that. I think all the materials I used are here inside this chest. The numbers do not correspond to how much I actually used, but yeah. Let's have a little look inside. Inside, again, this place is supposed to work as a bit of like a starter home. Not really supposed to be. I built it to be fancy, but it's not really supposed to be overwhelmingly fancy, I guess you could say. They're saying I added in these. Why are these here? I don't know. I just want to experiment with the campfire and extinguishing it and stuff like that. So I figured why not put it up here. I did the exact same thing up here, except for I think it looks a lot nicer here than it does right here. But either way though, using some upsides down stairs to act as kind of like a bit of a table, kind of makes everything look quite nice here. And trapdoors to try and make add a bit more detail. I like it, but again, my main worry about it is just that it could potentially be a little bit over detailed, if not completely. Also, I like how I made these little bits right here stand out, like made the roof have a bit of a jagged edge here. But the next build, this is my mansion build with custom trees on the outside. Kind of a fun little fact here. These are my very first custom tree builds. So I hope they don't look too shites. Also, I did a custom fence for the front here. Let me see if I can. Inside this chest contains just about everything I use. Once again, figured I'd point that out. This contains everything I believe I used for the outside. I did some custom lamp posts by using some wooden fence and some iron bars in order to try and give it a little more shape. Aside from that, the only problem I have with this build is I should have made these towers a little bit taller. They don't really serve any real purpose after you get up to this height. Yeah, I kind of wish I made them a little bit taller because it kind of looks a little bit weird otherwise, in my opinion. But after heading inside and turning down the volume, after having to deal with so many rude interruptions, as you can see by this slime ball, and now some more creatures, the idea is the bottom floor is meant to be kind of a bit of a standard kind of living quarters. Not supposed to be overwhelmingly fancy, just kind of just something for people to stay in, or for people who are keeping the house, like people like maids and butlers, to stay in. These are all just supposed to be small rooms. They're supposed to have very similar looks to them, using the barrels once again as a highlight to the wood blocks. Down here, in each of the little towers at the base of them, we have little workshops. Here is the smithing workshop. This is actually the reason for this hole right here, so that the smoke is supposedly supposed to have a place to go to. But as you can see, the smoke continues to run into this wooden block here. Also, as you can certainly see, I am using, once again, lanterns to try and keep this place as lit as possible. Over here is technically a bit of a cooking place. You see you got the smokers, and you also have another place where smoke technically can't get anywhere to. So technically, yeah, this place is technically filled with smoke if you were looking at a real life equivalent of it. Point being, this is a stone place, a stone masonry inside the place. So if anything breaks that's made of stone, they bring it here. Of course, here's my Legion of Iron Golems are supposed to be here, making sure there's nothing, making sure all the mobs that do spawn inside this building are taken care of quite swiftly. Here's a bit of a carpet working place and, of course, cartography. Let's go ahead and move upstairs, which is supposed to be a bit more fancy, as you can see. There's a bunch of paintings, and the rooms look a little bit bigger. The ceiling's a lot taller. Yeah, everything's quite lovely. And over here are a bit more specialized rooms, you know, for those very important guests. They got again, the same kind of desk technically as down there, but now we actually have what's supposed to be a closet. This is supposed to take up technically a 4-block space in terms of, well, length. But that said, that it just uses these doors right here. There's nothing inside of it, as you can see. You could put a double chest down there if you really wanted to, or if you were to make this thing two blocks thick, you probably could put some chests inside of it. But we'll get to a different design later that I came up with that was kind of influenced by this. Over here is an armory and stuff like that, holding all the different variations of armor except for leather armor. For whatever reason, the game has currently bugged out, by the way, and as you can see, the chainmail armor apparently has a block of chainmail on it. I'll talk about this right here, because this is where I first started doing this right here. This is actually something really interesting. I thought that could be done to add a bit more depth to certain builds that no one seems to ever do. Over here is a bit of a place where just you keep the where you can keep records and play them and music and basically just a nice little place to chillax to. Coming back over here, we have a alchemy place. I figured alchemy is a bit more of a refined craft, so I figured I'd put it on the upper floor, which is supposed to feel a little more elegant, a little more expensive looking and stuff like that. And back over here is an enchanting setup with, of course, a bunch of books. Okay, so this right here is supposed to be the master bedroom, as you can see. There's a bit more, the desk has a couple more plants to it. We have the same kind of design here for that, but the bed looks a whole lot more fancy. I used the campfires to try and basically make the top part of the bed look a little more fancy. I was hoping that the wooden fences would connect to it, but it didn't happen. And these are supposed to act like a bit of a drape, I guess you could say, over the bed. The attic technically doesn't have an access to, so we're going to have to punch a hole through it. Let me grab a block to replace it with. But yeah, it's a pretty spacious attic. If I do say so myself. Probably should build some golems up here. Now, talking about those trap doors, as you can see, this adds a lot more depth to my build. As it is. Basically, I was thinking to myself, why don't we have something like sideways slabs? Because you can only place slabs like this or like this. Slabs only count as a half block, but you can't set them up vertically like you can here with a open trap door. So I figured, why not take a trap door and set it up like that to act like a vertical slab? But aside from that, I think this build turned out fairly nice. The only problem I really have with it is the towers personally, but I'm not going to go back and redo it because I'm just that lazy. Let's move on to the next build, which is supposed to be a bit of a camp build. There was another, this is kind of influenced by a YouTuber, not the same YouTuber as that house back there, but he was doing a playthrough and he was building a campsite, and I figured, well, why don't I take a shot at that? And this is kind of what I came up with. So I planted multiple different trees to kind of give it a feeling of, well, you're not just surrounded by one tree type, so why not be surrounded by multiple? And we have a campfire in the middle, a couple of logs sitting here on the side that you can jump up onto and have a nice little seat. And there's of course a couple of lanterns here. Believe it or not, this place is, I believe, actually better lit up than that mansion, as funny as that sounds. And of course I have 2 tents here using the black and red color scheme. Each of them have 4 beds in it along with 1 lantern, and it tends to work out quite nicely. Moving on to the next build, this is whenever I was feeling a little bit cheeky and thought that I might try to do a Japanese style build, like a Japanese mansion build. As you can see, the roof probably has a lot more to be desired, but I tried my best. But in any case, the point being is this is meant to be a bit like a Japanese mansion. The idea, the actual influence for this was actually a mansion from an anime called Fate. or Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works to be specific. This doesn't look like the mansion I had in mind from it in specific. I would have to have made lots of areas a lot bigger, and and there's even some portions of the house that I actually didn't know what they looked like. I just kind of went along with it and just did my best to make it look as good as possible. Here is the main house. This is over there will be your living quarters, and over here is a living room. That's the entry area. And back here is a bit of a garden. Now, once again, you'll see something very interesting. I used the trapdoors again. Probably not as interesting as I said it was. But once again, I used the trapdoors to create kind of a wall. I don't know exactly how effective trapdoors are as a wall if you were to use it in survival, but it seems to work pretty nicely in my opinion. But it's probably the reason why you probably don't see it in survival mode all that often. It's probably because it's so intensive on your resources. I probably could have came by and put in more support pillars, to be honest, to try and make this look a little bit better. But with that said, though, we'll explore the back area, even though this backyard area, a little bit better in a bit. I'll talk about that build because that build's probably a little bit later, and just to let you know, that build's probably never going to get finished. Considering the version I'm playing on, as I'm sure some of y'all can have noticed with the menu here, in all honesty, I kind of hate Bedrock version. It just so happened to be the version that I bought, not knowing that there were multiple versions of Minecraft. So, yeah. If I had known there had been multiple versions, I would have got Java Edition. But anyway, so let's actually go on the inside of this build and have a look around. Entering in, any inside of any house, I believe, in any Asian culture like Japan, China, probably even in Korea, whether that be north or south, regardless. Probably any Asian household, they generally require you to come in, take off your shoes, and put on a new pair. It's all the shoes that people were probably wearing outside, and here's the shoes they want you to wear inside. And of course, there's like a nice, lovely shelf area here, and a couple of plants. Over here is the I'll talk about this in a bit because this is kind of me going a bit further with my trapdoor obsession. In fact, actually, this is one of the reasons why I really want to do this. Okay, so bookcases here. This is supposed to be a TV, but I think it doesn't work all that well. But this is supposed to be a TV. I probably could put an iron bar here whenever the Nether update launches, an iron bar here, because I think iron bars and glass panes and iron bars now link together inside of the Nether update. Jungle wood here again with item frames on the side to act as to turn this into a bit of a couch. Over here is your table. I think I used upside down sandstone stairs to kind of create a bit of a table here, or countertop actually. It's supposed to be a sink. This is supposed to be a fridge. Over here is your smoker, and I decided to put some brick walls here in order to create what looks like a chimney coming out from the stove. And of course, there are multiple doors leading out into the backyard. One of the things I wanted to do is now I do have a texture pack on. This texture pack is called, I think, Beyond the Land or something, Beyond Lands or something or another, something like that. And it kind of changed the texture for everything in the game, including these trapdoors. The base game texture for trapdoors actually reminded me of, I believe, it's paper walls, the old traditional Japanese paper walls that they had, or whatever they were called. And I was like, oh, I just figured, why not use those to create a wall? And it feels like it works really well. Coming this way, we have our living area. The hallway looks a little bit barren, I realize, but I can't think of anything to fit in here because it's such a small hallway. Probably could put a couple of tables in here, or maybe shelves, maybe some, even paintings would do. But in any case, though, let's enter here, and all the rooms are pretty much exactly the same except for one on the very end. We have our bed here, and we have the sliding doors here with chests on the inside. This is supposed to act like a closet. And of course, every room has access to the walkway here, which we'll come back to shortly. Then here is supposed to be a bathing area. I don't know how well I did it. I mean, given the fact I'm not falling inside the cauldron. There we go. Given it's supposed to be a bit of a bathing area, so I don't know if I did all that well or not. As you can see in there, there are a bunch of fish, colorful fish. I tried to make sure to pick some of the more colorful fish. But anyway, so the idea here is that this was supposed to be kind of like your Zen garden type of thing right here. I believe this is what it's referred to as. But anyway, so I kind of basically the influence for this right here is like Zen. It's supposed to be a Zen garden. I tried to add in a couple of rocks back there using cobblestone, smooth stone, slabs and their slab variants, and some their mossy variants, as well as some as you can see, vines. I also added in some bamboo shoots in order to try and get, because I figured that would look very nice. I used some coarse dirt to create some walking paths. I realized you could take a shovel to grass to create an actual walking path, as that's a feature that was implemented into Minecraft. But I figured that would do a lot better. Alright, after having to deal with all of these slimes, let's go ahead and enter here. This is meant to be a bit of a shed. Got some barrels in here for storage. Also got a chest. And then you see hanging up on the side here are supposed to be your typical, what you probably would imagine to be your typical tools that you would find in a shed. And I used I believe this is either an acacia or jungle wood. I think this is acacia trapdoor to act as a bit of a window here instead of putting an actual glass window. But in any case, so you got a hoe. You got a couple of hoes here. I think this is actually a pickaxe. Got a hoe, shovel, pickaxe, and a iron axe. I think these are stone tools actually. In combination with, I think, a birchwood, a slabbed birchwood roof, and birchwood logs for support. Going around the side of the house, you can see there's a walk path, but not much there. Around here are just a bunch of bushes and stuff like that. Not much else to really see, to be honest. But anyway, so let's talk about this build real fast, because this tower is actually finished. That one's not. This was meant to be a large castle build. Alright, this was meant to be a large castle build with a 3-block thick wall and a massive kind of almost a cathedral, almost a castle kind of built with a bit of a cathedral theme going on with it. But I got burnt out and didn't want to work on it anymore. Let's look at this tower, because this tower I was planning on replicating. This tower right there, there, and there on the different sides here. But as you can see here, I used jungle. These are actually jungle wood doors. But the underside here, I was planning on filling up with weapons, but then I figured, well, there's not really an easy way to do that right now, is there? I was thinking maybe some chests or something, or I could have used some frame. I could have used some of the item frames to put some weapons up there. But going up here, you got a stairway a winding staircase that goes all the way up to the top. You go all the way up here, and you have like little holes here that you can use something like a bow or crossbow to shoot out of by going up here and open up these trap doors, because you can come up to the top, which has these lovely little areas that you can hide behind. And then you can step up here. Once you have your crossbow loaded, you can step up here and shoot out. And this is just meant for some defense and stuff like that. I was just like, oh, what does the castle have? Well, it has towers. What does towers use for? Defense. Ah. And then out here you can come out onto the wall, which is supposed to have a very similar type of design, except for you don't have the block to step up onto to get a little bit high so you can see over the wall. Okay, so but getting over here, I started working on this a little bit as well, just in the hopes that maybe I wouldn't get entirely burnt out, but no, it happened. And you come over here and you look at it, it's like it's supposed to be a bit of a cathedral using the same color pattern I used for the mansion back on that way, and turn it for stained glass windows. Let's see here. I believe this tells me right here how big this actually is. This is the 60th block, so this is about 120 blocks total from that tower to that tower. And I can't remember what the count was on this one. I was mainly doing this just to find a center point. So this may actually be like something like 121 blocks actually. But let's move back this way and let's talk about this house over here, which isn't furnished, but it is complete in all honesty. There's only one real nitpick once again I have about some of these houses, and that's mainly just the roof. This one I screwed up on and just decided not to fix. Gives it a bit more depth in all honesty. The outside of the house and around it I probably could add a bit more to it, but the house itself, like I said, is done. But in any case though, moving around. As you can currently see, we have a front porch. I used cobblestone right here as a base and did some some upside down stairs in order to try and make that work. I probably could put something right here. In fact, I probably should have. There we go. I kind of like that a little bit more. Okay, so this is supposed to be for the most part finished, at least in terms of the actual build itself. It may look a little bit weird or janky, but yeah, I was kind of a bit of a rush last time I did this, and as you can see, I'm kind of adding in a few additional stuff right now. But for the most part, I like the build, and I think it is for the most part completely done. We're not going to furnish the inside of it because I don't know what I would put on the inside of it, in all honesty. But as you can see, it's split between kind of two main rooms, and it's supposed to act kind of, I guess, as a bit of a midway, actual prim and proper fancy starter house, I guess you could even say. The only real things left to really do to is add some outside designs, and really that's kind of just it. Not much else to mention about it. We'll go on the inside real fast and show off some of the designs in there. As you can see, I have an iron golem in there. The place is lit up well enough right now, though. Let's go ahead and look at the build on the inside. As you can see, I went ahead and added a few extra things to it just then. But in case, so birch wood for the flooring, spruce wood for the roofing, and this is all oak wood. This build was very much influenced by a survival build that someone did. I'll leave the two channels in the description below that influence. Well, A, the camp build over there, and B, this build right here. Going inside here, like I said, the place is very bare bones. I'm kind of thinking of removing this little walkway and making it a bit expanded, like maybe cutting it out and maybe removing these windows right here. But this is supposed to be a bit of a living space, like you can put your bed in here or something, and maybe put some more things over here though. But it's a bit, it's big and open. You can put wherever you want in here. So you come over here, and one of the parts I like the best here is this chimney I did. So as you can see, this is a 2x2 chimney. If we go outside though, the chimney is a single block, and you can still see the smoke come out of it. I took it and I took this entire part of the build and I curved it off right here. If we go inside, you can see where there's a stair block, or hopefully you can see it's a stair block. But this is supposed to be, I believe, a stair block. Is it a stair block? No, it's not. I didn't put it in as a stair block. Okay. Oh no, here's the stair block. But in any case, the point being is you come over here and the smoke, I'm assuming the smoke is kind of going up and rolling around the staircase and coming out this one part of the chimney. There are hay bales underneath the campfires that are in there, so that's probably what is making the smoke come out through the actual top of the chimney there. And the top of the chimney, by the way, it does have slabs on it. But in any case, though, those are kind of been all my builds. This one's the least fancy of them all because I haven't really done any outside decorating for this build, because this is actually a fairly new build for what I've been doing. And I'm kind of thinking on my channel, I will, if this video does do good in some way or another, but I will do kind of a playthrough of Minecraft. I'm thinking maybe doing a whole little world playthrough, and just kind of basically just starting up a new world and just kind of doing a survival series. But point being is, I'm kind of interested in doing Minecraft, and this video is just kind of a way of me figuring out what's going to work on my channel, what's not going to. But with that said, I'll see you guys in whatever video I decide to make next. It may end up being more New Vegas, it may not. I'll catch you guys next time.